Alright my friends, so go grab your life jacket because today we're sailing off with the Don't Give Up the Ship, a revived forgotten classic with a pretty cool history. What's fascinating about this one is that most people who know it associate it with its pretty cool name and the story behind it, but as we'll discover later today, beyond its great name, possibly the reason why it outlived its predecessor, there's no real connection between the drink and the famous Don't Give Up the Ship battle cry. So if you guys are ready, let's clear the fog and get to the bottom of this. Let's go. Today's video is sponsored by myself and my upcoming book, BYOB, Be Your Own Bartender, Volume 1. So long story short, when I started bartending about 15 years ago, it was kind of the mid-cocktail revival, at least in Canada where I was working, and classic cocktails were really big back then. So like a lot of new bartenders who were taking this seriously, I dove really deep into the classic cocktail world and therefore into the classic cocktail books as well. But as a visual guy, I always felt like something was missing in those books. Visuals, like they're filled up with beautiful recipes, but no photos, sometimes maybe a little hand drawing, but that's it, and that was not enough for me. So I always had the dream of creating a real classic cocktail book with beautiful photos for each cocktails, and that's exactly what I did with my book, and I'm extremely proud of it. I'm releasing the book with an independent publisher, so that gave me complete freedom for everything from text to images, and I really love the result. I can't wait for you to see it. So it's available for pre-order right now. If you guys are interested, I'm gonna link it in the description and pinned comment below. But now, back to the cocktail. So before we make the drink, we need to get back to the beginning, because in order to understand where it comes from, we need to start with a completely different cocktail. So the Don't Give Up the Ship was first published in Crosby Gaige's book Cocktail Guide and Ladies Companion, and it's a gin, Fernet Branca, orange curacao, and Dubonnet cocktail. There is no mention of any creator, no mention of a creation date, and as of we know now, there's no other mention of a Don't Give Up the Ship cocktail before this book. But if we go a little back further in time, we can find essentially the exact same cocktail under a different name. In 1930, Harry Craddock published his book, the Savoy Cocktail Book, and in there's the Napoleon cocktail, which is a gin, Fernet Branca, orange curacao, and Dubonnet cocktail with almost the exact same specs. So basically, the same cocktail. So between 1930 and 1941, the drink went from being called the Napoleon to the Don't Give Up the Ship, and we can pretty much assume that Gaige is responsible for that new name, because when you look at his book, it's not an isolated case. Another good example of that is with the arsenic and old lace. For those familiar with this drink, it's a riff on a martini with crème de violette and absinthe, and the first mention of the arsenic and old lace in the book is in Gaige's book in 1941. But in 1930, in Harry Craddock's book, there is the Atty cocktail, which is essentially the exact same recipe, and even prior to that, in Hugo Ensling's book in 1917, there's the Attention cocktail, which is again the exact same recipe as the arsenic and old lace. And what makes us think that Gaige was the one stealing recipes and giving them some new names is that he was a Broadway theater producer, and in 1941, when he released his book, one of his plays also opened, and it was called the Arsenic and Old Lace. So as a theater guy, he seemed to have a pretty good way with words, and his names stuck over the original ones like the Arsenic and Old Lace and the Don't Give Up the Ship. But one of his attempts failed beautifully, and it's the Up in Mabel's Room, which was another of his play, and it was essentially just a brown derby cocktail. But because the brown derby was already very popular back then, people kept on calling this drink the brown derby over the Up in Mabel's Room. But back to the Don't Give Up the Ship, even though the name stuck, it pretty much vanished from the cocktail world after this book, up until 2004 at the Zigzag Cafe in Seattle, a bar made popular, among other things, for reviving old classic recipes like The Last Word, for example, and that's where they actually undusted the Don't Give Up the Ship for the first time. It didn't take off as much as The Last Word did, but from 2004 up until recently, we started to see some bartenders and bars who played with the ratios to adjust them to today's standards, and we now have a recipe that's pretty much accepted globally as the classic, and that's thanks to J.E. Clotham, who in 2022 played with the ratios, started to use a bold sweet vermouth instead of Dubonnet, and since then pretty much everyone accepted this recipe as the new don't give up the ship. So after all this, we still don't know who created this cocktail and why did Gaige name this drink after the famous words allegedly shouted by James Lawrence as he lay mortally wounded in the USS Chesapeake in 1813, and we will probably never know. But ultimately, maybe this is not what really matters. For me, and probably for you as well, what really matters is how the drink tastes, and to be honest, it's pretty freaking delicious. So let's get to the recipe. So to make it, you're gonna need dry gin, sweet vermouth, orange curacao, Fernet Branca, and the zest of an orange. So in a mixing glass, we're gonna start with 1.5 ounces of dry gin, and the rest is very easy. 1/2 ounce of each ingredients: sweet vermouth, orange curacao, and Fernet Branca. Now we add ice and stir until ice cold. Then we just strain this in a cocktail coupe. And for the garnish, we're gonna make a long orange zest. Express the oils across the top. Place the zest in the drink with half of it sticking out like an almost sinking ship. So there I have it, the don't give up the ship. Cheers. I really love this drink. I had it for the first time about 2 years ago, and it was a revelation. I'm usually not a huge fan of stirred down cocktails made out of gin. For me, they're either too sweet or too light. It's never like the perfect sweet spot. But this one checks all the boxes. It's bold, it's rich, it's complex. I really love it, and I couldn't recommend it more. So my friends, this is it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this video. Leave a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, to turn the bell if you want to make sure not to miss the next one. And until then, thank you very much again. Have a great day and see you very soon. Cheers. Oh, and don't forget to check out my book. It would be greatly appreciated.